Oh, YouTube, can you hear me? Oh, my God, stop showing. Which one is that? This one? This one? Oh, okay, not bad. That was better. I didn't even check to see the sound. Let me check the sound and see if it's working. It is. So give me a moment. Let me go live on my other devices on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And today we're going to talk about self-talk. What's your self-talk? What's your self-talk? Hello, hello, my people. Hi, Instagram. Hi, TikTok. Not TikTok. Yes. Hi, TikTok. Hello, Facebook. Facebook hasn't been doing good lately. So let me just go live on Facebook here. And then today I want to talk about self-talk. What is your self-talk? Do you know your self-talk? Do you know how you talk to yourself? Are you aware of the way that you talk to yourself in your mind? Most of us don't even know that that's a thing, that the way that we talk to ourselves is one of the reasons why our life is where it is right now. Some of us have no idea what self-talk is. We have never heard anybody talk about self-talk. I know this because I was one of those people where I never heard anybody explain the power of my mind, the power of the words that I say, how I talk to myself. Never heard anybody say it. So I never knew it was a thing, right? Let me start with a story of myself. Facebook has been playing tricks with me lately. And if you were raised any way similar to the way I was raised, you would probably relate to this. Where everybody around you, your family, your friends, are used to saying, I am broke, I have no money, things are expensive, everything is expensive, I can't afford it, this is not going to work. If you are raised with people who constantly say these things, then probably your self-talk is telling yourself that I can't do this, this is impossible, this is hard, this is expensive, I have no money, I can't be like that because I've never seen anybody be like that, or I can't be like that because everybody is saying it's impossible to do that. So you grow up believing all these things, right? You talk about being a millionaire, and everybody around you is saying, you know what? No, you can't do it. Why do you think you can do that? Why do you think it has to be you? So you also grow up believing that all these things you cannot do. I was one of those people. I didn't even know that self-talk was a thing, that there is a thing called self-talk. Better yet, I had no idea that I can listen to the stuff that's going on in my head, or I can talk like I'm talking now and still be able to listen to myself talk. Those are things that I never knew was possible. And another example I'll give you, and I learned this from Muji. I always talk about Muji because I am part of the admin group in his Sangha, the New York Sangha. So sometimes I host the meditation. And hosting the meditation is not me leading the meditation, but we get videos from Portugal, and then we play those videos all the time, the meditation videos. Some of them are called contemplation, reflection, self-reflection, self-inquiry. But he would give this example that sometimes you see somebody acting in a way that you might consider weird, or we might consider weird. So they're talking to themselves, which talking to yourself is not bad. I love talking to myself. I always do, right? But they're acting out what they are thinking. I used to do it. I used to do that. So you think people don't know, or you yourself do it and you think people don't know. But the thoughts that are going on in your head is what you are acting out. And you are not aware that you're doing it. You're thinking about it and then you're acting it at the same time. So it's not natural. Even though other people might think you're faking it, but for you, you are not even aware that this is what you are doing. This is all a part of self-talk. And the way Moji will talk about it is that you can see somebody who's sitting there saying, you know, and then they think about picking something up and then they pick it up and then they look around. Or they think about actually, you see it sometimes when you go to a party or go to an event or even home, and this person just out of the blue just starts acting some kind of ways, different ways, and then do it, I can't do the work for me. And you wonder what's wrong with this person. More often than not, the person is thinking about it in their head and then acting it out in real time because that is what is natural to them. This is all a part of our self-talk. If you go to the store or to any place, let's say I always talk about wanting to transform and wanting to change your life. Maybe there's a car you want to buy. If you are a supercar lover or a truck lover, four-wheeler like myself, I love huge cars and supercars and noisy and motorcycles. But then the ones that you want cost a lot of money. In your mind, you think it costs a lot of money. So you always tell yourself, this is expensive. I will not be able to afford it. Or I need to do this, and this to be there. And I don't want to do that. I am too lazy. I am too so you are already subconsciously and unconsciously convincing yourself and telling yourself that you cannot get there. And you know what will happen? You will not get there until you change your mind, really change your mind, change your mindset, the way that you think, but most importantly, the way that you talk inside of your head. I don't know if this is making sense. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, let me know. Facebook is still flickering, so I don't know. Let me know if what I'm saying it makes sense to you, right? Because there are voices in our head. I've been learning this for about 10 years now, understanding the way that I talk to myself inside of my head in terms of where I want to go and the things that I want for myself. Does it make sense? Tell me in the chat. Somebody tell me something. I'm looking at my computer here. Somebody tell me something. Because the self-talk, that's another way that I can explain it, right? You too. That's another way I can explain the self-talk. So there's a saying by Napoleon Hill and Earl Nightingale, if you believe you can, or you believe you can, you are right. What you believe is what will happen. What you believe is what you will see. But these days, listening to Neville Brother, right, he would say that if you don't get what you want, what you get who you are. So if you're manifesting or you're trying to create something, you're trying to transform your life, you are broke, you want some money, right? I don't believe in poverty because poverty is just a mindset. So let's just say you are broke and you want money. You're living in an apartment, but you want to live with it. Maybe you have a car, but you want a different car. Maybe you want to be well known, right? I do. I have learned so much that I can keep quiet about it anymore. Even though in the beginning of my journey, I was told constantly that this is a byproduct. If you get on the spiritual journey or the personal development journey, you can get to a point where it's harder to keep it to yourself than to talk about. It's a whole lot more easier to just record and talk about it than it is to hold it deep with you. And I think that's where I am at now. So you want to change, you want to be different, you want to do something different. The first thing that you need to look at and think about is when you were growing up as a child, and as always, I always say we talk about adverse childhood experiences and childhood trauma, because wherever you are right now in your life, myself included, the root of it is how you were raised. Now it is our responsibility, right? And it's time for us to take the accountability to heal ourselves, to get to where we want to be and be the person that we want to be. But wherever you are in your life right now, the basis, the root of your life experiences as you are right now is from the way you were raised and the things that you were told in your childhood, what your parents told you, the environment that you were raised with. Hi, Andre, the environment you were raised in, what people believe, and then they give it to you. What people believe, and then they give it to you, right? So that's the first thing you look at. The environment that you were raised, how did they talk? Not to you, of course to you, but how do they talk generally within themselves and around themselves? How did people in your environment talk? The people in your family, how did they talk generally when they had conversations? How did they talk? They always say that you know a person, you truly know a person when there is adversity. So in your environment, in your family, the people that raised you, when there was an issue, when there was a problem in the family, when something happened, how did they talk within themselves? Eventually, of course, you need to figure out how they talk to you, but let's start from the basics. Within themselves, how did they talk to themselves? Because we cannot say something that we don't know, and we cannot say something that's not inside of us. The things that I'm saying now, I am only able to talk about them because it is inside of me. I have learned it, I have studied it, and I have went through it. And now I'm at a point where I can articulate myself and talk about it, right? So the people that raised you, I'm from Kenya and Nigeria. So the people that raised you, the people that you were surrounded with, If you look at your life right now and where you are in your life, how it is, whether you have money, no money, you live in the house that you want or in the house that you don't want, how you act, how you talk to yourself, if you look at all of that and you reflect on who you are, when you look back, you will see that either your uncle, yesterday was good, I had to pause all I am right. Thank you, Sana. I appreciate that. Definitely felt good. If you go back, right, you will see that how you talk to yourself and how you see yourself and what you believe in yourself comes from maybe how your mother used to talk, how your father used to talk, or how your mother and your father used to talk to each other, right? Or if you were raised by your uncle or whoever raised you, the way that they talk, that's how you talk now. Is this making sense? So who we are is a combination of the environment and the home that we were raised in. Some people have this habit of saying to themselves that they are stupid, they are dumb, they are not smart, they can't do this. This is usually because somebody in their life when they were a child used to tell them that they were dumb and they were stupid and something was wrong with them. I used to do that. So you sometimes when you see somebody who's very hard on themselves, or who's very hard on people, words carry immense power. Absolutely. Right? I like to say that. So I like to say that spells are actually words. The words that we speak are the actual spell. Because and you can't speak it if you are not thinking it, if it's not in your words. Absolutely sort of the word. Spelling words, right? That's why it's called spelling. Hello, Cher. Welcome. Never too late, right? So you can't say it if it's not inside of you. Most of us, myself included, maybe we were traumatized by our mother, by our father, by our uncle. The only reason we were traumatized by them is because they themselves they were traumatized. And they could only raise us the way that they only know. That's all they know. They don't know anything else. So now for us to change it, we have to be aware and conscious of what is going on between our ears, what is going on here. That's why I'm trying to change and don't say good morning. Yes, yes, we're used to saying that good morning, right? Good morning. Right? So when you know what's going on here, then you know what's going on within yourself. And then you understand what's going on within your reality and your environment. But the basis of it is to understand the people that raised you, the way that they talk. So, for example, I had to understand and see that I love beautiful things and I love expensive things, right? I have no problem buying or investing. And if you listen to teachers, they tell you never to say spending money. Even Reverend Ike talks about never say spending money. Some people would say you are investing money or you are circulating. Because whatever you circulate, what happens? It comes back to you. Whatever you invest, mentally, emotionally, you're thinking what? It's going to come back to you. But when you spend, then it's gone. There's no coming back, right? So I don't have a problem investing in things that are expensive, but I want them to make me feel good. But eventually, at some point in my life, the boomerang effect, at some point in my life, I have to notice that even though I have no problem with expensive stuff, and I'm not talking about vanity stuff, because I am that girl who doesn't really like handbags, and, all these types of long nails or these kinds of weaves and a lot of things I don't like, right? So I have to see that when I go to these stores or these places, or I speak to somebody, or I want to join a class or a challenge, and it costs about $2,000 plus, and I feel uncomfortable, even though I'm telling myself, "Why not? I want to do it," but I feel uncomfortable and emotionally witching myself and saying, this is too expensive. Why is it so expensive? And even though I'm okay with buying that expensive stuff, I would go and buy cheaper stuff. So during my journey, I had to see that this is because every time when I was a child, every time I went out with my mother, good day Afrocentric, welcome and happy Thursday. Every time I went out with my mother to buy stuff, she would either buy from sale or buy the cheapest stuff. Where sometimes we have no use for it. And I'm not from a poor family. Well, I'm not from a broke family because poverty is a mindset. So mentally, right, mentally and emotionally, there's that poverty effect. Even though I grew up with everything that I grew up. So I had to see that and understanding that even looking at the tags, looking at the price, looking at the price is not just because you don't have the money. You've been trained and conditioned to do that. And when you go to look at the price tag, there's some kind of dialogue, there's some kind of self-talk that's going inside of your head, something that you're telling yourself, that you used to telling yourself, or you heard growing up. When I was on my walk this morning and just meditating on this topic, I also realized that this one was especially my grandmother. It didn't matter how much money she had. She was always saying, "I don't have money." Oh, Alice, I have no money. It didn't matter how much money she had. And with that mentality, with that way of talking, you can think yourself into brokenness. You can think yourself into poverty, right? Some of us say nothing works out for me, or all women are the same, all men are the same. Nobody loves you, nobody wants to help you. That's our granny, exactly, right? And so we pick it up from them. I don't have money, and they do tuck into their malan in their wrap or underneath the pillow or under the bed, and we pick those up. People say, nobody loves me. Nobody's going to love me. All men are the same. All women are the same. Black people are like this. White people are like this. Asians are like this. You go to Africa. Mandinkas are like this. Jolas are like this. Igbos are like this. Nigerians are like this. Kenyans are like this. Gambians. It's all the mental, the self-talk, the way that we've been raised. And I keep saying talk And I know I never said talk before, but I was listening to Nicki Minaj and Kai Kent, their live, and I just picked that up from there. And now it's coming out, which is another example of the people that we listen to. Which is why I said if you want to know what is happening in your life right now, how you see yourself, how you talk about yourself, what you believe about yourself, what you believe about your life, what you believe about people, what you believe about the world, the queen of love, yeah, what you believe about your world, right? What you believe about the world, because we all live on one earth, as Muji like to say it, but different world. Most of the conflicts is because I want you to think like me and see the world like me. The next person wants us to think like them and see the world like them, but that's impossible because each of us is a different world. We all have a different world, and this is why trauma happens. Because if you have a child, and I can say this as a mother, right? Because I had to observe it with my daughter when she was born, because I was always curious. I was already learning this. We talk to ourselves in the manner that if someone else is doing things to us, we would fight them. Absolutely. Right? We would fight them. But many a time we are not aware that this is the way that we're talking to ourselves. And the only reason somebody else will talk to us in a way that is rude, if somebody is rude to you, is because you are rude to yourself. There's an aspect of you when you listen to Neville Goddard, he would always say, you wrote the script. And the people that come into your life, they are just actors. And they're playing the script that you wrote. So you wrote the script in your mind already. It's in your mind, it's in your heart, it's in the way you carry yourself, it's in the way that you talk to people, it's in the way that you behave. So the people that come into your life, what they're doing is just playing the script that you already wrote. But if you go back to your childhood, they said, who Steve Jobs says you always have to go back to see the future or go back to learn the future, whatever, however he said it. If you go back to your childhood, to your parents, and just reflect, if your parents are still alive right now and you're around them and you can talk to them, make it a conscious habit of you just listening to the words they use and how they talk. It will tell you everything that you need to know about yourself, about your life, and how you see yourself. If you have that opportunity, if your parents are not alive and your parents are not here, reflect on their lives. Maybe talk to some other family members and listen to how they talk. If you don't have the opportunity to do all of that, then just right now, look at the people in your life and the people that you're surrounded with and listen to their conversations and how they speak. They are only in your life talking the way they talk because that's the way they talk. If your parents are alive, then you can listen to them and listen to them. If your parents are not alive and you don't have anywhere that you can figure out how your parents used to talk and how they see themselves, look at your friends, your relationships, both romantic, platonic. Look at your own personality. Because personality is fake. In school, they used to ask us, what is your personality? And then we start making up a personality. Maybe you do it, but I do. You start making up a personality, start thinking about, oh, this is what I am, this is what I do. At home, people ask you, oh, this is their personality, this is their personality, blah, blah, blah. And then you start writing a script, and then you start talking to yourself like that person, and then you make up an image or a mask, a facade, a face of that person with that personality, and then you attract these people who talk exactly like you, who act exactly like you, that will tell you what your self-talk is. But this is why meditation is a thing. This is why meditation is good. Even the people that say, I don't know how to meditate, I can't meditate, that's still a self talk. That's still an idea that you cannot meditate because you believe you cannot meditate. But that's what meditation is for. It's sitting in awareness, being able to be aware of when your mind goes away and then when your mind comes back. So a lot of people think they're meditating to quiet their mind. We cannot quiet our mind. If that was possible, I would have quieted. If that was possible, the monks and the monastics I met, they would have had their mind quiet. But we meditate to be able to catch ourselves. You can hear what you say to yourself. You can hear the voices in your head. You can hear how you talk to yourself. When people say I cannot meditate, it's because they're afraid of everything that's going on in their head, the things that they hear in themselves say. That's so correct. Absolutely, Sam. Right? It's they can hear it, and it can be scary hearing yourself think about, oh, when this happened to me, or this is going to happen, or I failed, or I am this person, or I'm not likable, I'm not a good person, or I'm dumb, or I'm stupid. And everything is playing in your head, then your anxiety level start raising up, and you just want to get up from wherever you were sitting down. But the power of meditation is like a split second. It's usually that moment where you sit down and then all of a sudden you have traveled to a different world or different dimension or different place. You're somewhere else. Good morning, city girl. Hi, hi. You've traveled away. And then you realize that your mind has gone, and then you bring your mind back. That split second of awareness, that's where the power of meditation is. Now, it's easier to explain than it is to be done because sometimes I fumble it myself, even though I'm explaining it now. Where sometimes you can sit down, even if you're not meditating, because there's a saying by some of the monks that I met that, well, even I think Sadhguru talked about it too, if I remember correctly. I know Muji talked about it, that the idea of meditation is not for you to be a person who meditates, because that's also active. That's also a personality. You have the personality as a person who sits down to meditate. But the idea of meditation is to actually live a meditative life. It's just like health and wellness. When I talk about health and wellness, I always say the idea is not to be on the trend of health and wellness. It's to actually live a healthy lifestyle. So the idea of meditation is to live is to live a meditative lifestyle. And to live a meditative lifestyle, it's not just being quiet or being in a place that's quiet. It's that, like we talked about yesterday, emotional control, right? It's that even when you are in the chaos and there's a lot of things happening, you're still able to be aware of yourself. You're still able to be aware of yourself from what's happening in your mind, and you are still able to not be easily carried away by everybody and everything. I am still working on that. I don't talk about these things because I am an expert. I talk about them as I learn as I go. And the more I understand a concept, the more I come and share. Just like I said yesterday, to the sharing is also healing. Sharing is caring, but sharing is healing. Nobody tells us sharing is healing. They always say sharing is caring. And then we think that we need to care for everybody. But sometimes we have to be selfish and heal. So I'm sharing to heal as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go. But I feel, yeah, sharing is healing. Yeah, people think you're Christian. I know. People tell me that. People think I'm Christian. I'm like, I'm not Christian. Um, things might be shifting. It is note to self. It's actually note to self. Yeah. Things might be shifting, and some of you might be there already. But if you're not, when you really go deep into your healing journey and personal development journey, things are always shifting. Right? There's a saying that change is constant. Change is the only thing constant. So for me, one of the issues that I used to have, which was my self-talk, right, relating to the topic, was that I believed that I had to be one way. As always, everything that we go through stems from the way that we were raised. So the household that I came from, change was never celebrated. Transformation was never celebrated. So now I have to learn to flow, to go with the flow, to watch things unfold. And I feel within myself that things are shifting, things are unfolding. Of course, the lights will always be 12, or not always. For now, they are 12. I don't know. I have this feeling today of changing it, not doing it every day, but also I don't know if I don't do it every day, what I'm going to do. But these ideas are coming to me. And I have the idea of doing it every Saturday. Just thinking about the inner dialogue today and self-talk, right? It made me realize that everything that I've been talking about all these past months stems, the basis of it is our self-talk, the way that we talk to ourselves. So I thought about doing self-talk Saturday, but I don't know. So we will see what happens. These are just ideas that I have today. This morning when I was doing my work, and I was thinking to myself, if I do it once a week, on the other days, what am I going to do at 12? I want free time, but also another part of me doesn't want any free time. So that's another struggle that I always have with myself. I want to be busy, 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 but at the same time, I want to be lazy. But I don't do well being lazy. So just to let you know, if you see a drastic change, it's not a drastic change. Nothing is drastic. It's always been cooking, right? If you are in a relationship and all of a sudden your partner changes, it's not a sudden thing. It has been cooking in the background. If you wake up one day and you're broke, it has been cooking in the background. If you are depressed, it has been cooking in the background. The signs are always there. The thing is that depending on how you're raised, like I said, always have to go back to the way that it is raised. Depending on how you're raised, you might not be able to see the signs and see the red flags, myself included. You can relate Afrocentric recall, right? Myself included. I was never, ever able to see signs or understand signs or understand how things change and how things unfold. I was surrounded by people who would say, "Oh, I wish I could stop the rain." So I thought, I wish I could stop the rain so it doesn't rain. Right? So I was never able to see the signs and the red flags and the change and the unfolding. Now I am much more aware of it. And the more you are in touch with your intuition, to know, okay, oh, I'm going this way. Time to shift. One of the topics that I wanted to talk about today, and I thought about it yesterday, was how to know your purpose. But I realized we have talked about it not long ago, a few weeks ago, right? Because knowing your purpose is only part of being in touch with your intuition, something within yourself that's always talking to you. You want to go this way, saying, no, 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 no. But then you force yourself and you go that way and everything falls apart. And then you fall apart. But the signs were there. You were just not listening. Maybe it's telling you you have to go a different way. And the way to really get to that point is understanding what is going on here in between what's going on. But also, what do you listen to? I can tell you, I don't listen to Nicki Minaj. I very rarely listen to music, by the way. And when I do, I'm listening to reggae. Roots reggae. That's my go-to music. Sometimes dance. I don't. Right? So me listening to her for a little bit, and then all of a sudden I'm saying talk. This is what she said. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So I started saying that and I didn't even know. These are the ways that we are influenced. These are how we are influenced. Have you ever asked yourself why it is much easier to make it as a musician, actor, actress, than to be out there as an intellectual? Not easier to make it, but they are much more glorified and whatever, whatever. If you know, you know. If you understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying, right? So what we listen to as well, the types of music we listen to, the words, the lyrics. I've always been obsessed with lyrics. And I never knew why I was obsessed with lyrics, but now I understand. The lyrics of the music that you are listening to, it relates and it touches something in you that is already inside of you. So if the lyrics of what you are listening to, it's talking about the niggers and the bitches and the guns and the drugs and the killing. So maybe you look at they are more influential. They are not more influential. They've been put out there to be more influential. To show you that they have to be singers and musicians. It's a mindset game. It's the matrix, it's the hologram. the idea that they have been given to us. This is that idea of this is how we are supposed to think. This is how we are supposed to behave. This is how we are supposed to be. And this is how we are supposed to act. Right? They are not more influential. They have been made to be more influential so that we think and believe that they are more influential. Mindset game. Right? Yeah, you're laughing at me. So even the music is part of your self-talk. Because what you believe and what you constantly hear is what you will gravitate toward. I grew up listening to reggae from a very young age. The music that was the music that was constantly playing in my home, where I was raised, was reggae. My uncle would constantly play that, even though I absolutely hated that. That's one thing he gave me, reggae music. He's always listening to people, Lucian, Morgan Heritage, Richard Spice, Bob Marley. These these are the artists that he would listen to. So I grew up listening to those people. And the more I went into my healing journey, and I went back to studying Rastafarian and reggae music, and I went back to the lyrics, it made me understand why he was drawn to these lyrics. Not only was it soothing, but the lyrics of these songs were talking about the pain and the hurt that he was going through. Most of the rappers, if you listen to them, some of them are also explaining, a lot of them don't do half the stuff they rap about. Absolutely, but it sells. But it sells, right? The idea that's coming to mind now is that where was I read? Was I reading it or was I listening to it? And you can look it up as well. And I think I talked about it here, how the image of Lil Kim, not Lil Kim now, Lil Kim then, the time of Moulin Rouge, Lil Kim then, there was a made up image by Biggie Smalls. And don't quote me on that. Please do your own research. Everything I tell you, research it. Don't believe me, research it. You believe enough. It's time to cleanse yourself off of these things. Right? It's a made up image by Biggie Small because it tells that image, Moulin Rouge. I absolutely love Moulin Rouge, but you see the image. If you don't know the song Moulin Rouge, listen to it. I think it's Eve, Lil Kim, and is it Gwen Stefan? You're a hip hop head. Okay, there you go, Chef. Then you know more. Watch it in that image. But if you look at society now, that is the image that is out there in public. Anyway, yeah, the lyrics that you listen to. One of the Christina Aguilera, right? Not Gwen Stefan, Christina Aguilera. Christina Aguilera, she's the one in Milan. Um, my last post that I did today was by Big Sean, and it was Bounce Back. So there are some rappers whom, well, Big Sean is very spiritual. If you listen to his interviews, I've listened to more of his interviews than I have listened to his music. He even goes to some podcasts on spiritual, like Geisha, to talk about manifestation. And in most of his songs that I've listened to, Big Sean, he will talk about these things in his song. So even that song Bounce Back is talking about bouncing back, but the lyrics has a spiritual aspect to it. The movie. Oh, I have to go. 20 minutes. This is a good topic. Maybe that's why I was really thinking about doing this, the actual topic every week, because it's a deep topic. The movies that we watch. If you look at your favorite movie, there's a reason why they are your favorite. It touches a part of you that is still within yourself. There are things in there that relate to the way you talk to yourself, the way that you see yourself. Business mastery campus, right? Because we have content creation, but we also have business mastery. They put for us required reading and required watching. So different movies that we can watch about sales in business. And one of them is The Wolf of Wall Street. I've watched that movie over and over again. It is part of the sales training movie. But every time I watch it, every time I go home, in terms of selling and in terms of how to sell and in terms of the psychology of selling. But the movies that you like to watch, the shows that you like to watch, the shows and the movies that you would prefer and you would do anything to go home to. For the people who like reality TV, the gossip, the chaos, the backbiting, the fighting, if you look at your life, it touches an aspect of your life and the way you see yourself and how you talk to yourself. That's why we like these things. Because if it's not in you, it's not easy to like and it's not easy to relate to. It has to be inside of you already, which is why I always say the only people that listen to me are people that have gone through so much in their lives that when I speak, it touches their soul. Because for me, mentally and emotionally, even when I pray, this is what I pray for. I don't pray for everybody to watch me and listen to me. I pray for specific people to watch and listen to me and come in. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Your self-talk. That might be the weekly theme of our lives. We'll see. That's why subliminal messaging is so powerful. Yeah, it is so powerful. And the people that manipulate, that's what they use. Have a character building day. Thank you. That reminds me of Les Brown. He said, when you go through something, don't say you went through a hard time. Say you went through a character building. And as I was saying, yeah, the people who manipulate, it's not very pronounced, right? It's not. It's just a little. You got it from him. I know it. It's like the little things that they sprinkle on you here and there. How they chop off your self-esteem and the way that you believe in yourself and how you see yourself. That's how manipulation. Yeah, I wasn't denied writing a paper on it in college. You were denied writing a paper on it in college. Or am I getting that reading wrong? But yeah, yeah. And which is why even Les Brown would say, work on yourself and work on your mind every day, every day, every day. So listening to audiobooks every day, subliminal messages, like Afrocentric said, every day, affirmations, ask affirmations, which is the fraction version of affirmation, every day. Listening to things, it's a journey, right? But it has to be a lifestyle. I saw a quote that said, growth is growth is a habit. Get addicted to it. So I personally, it's a controversial topic. It is. I know it is. I've tried to talk about all of these things in school, and it was always a difficult thing to do. But it's school. You know, they need a paycheck. Certain things, when we talk about it, they can get fired. So when you, it has to be a habit. It has to be a lifestyle, part of a healthy life, where every single day, even if it can be your whole day, what you watch, what you listen to, what you talk about, it's always geared towards one thing. I need to find this lady again. Let me write her name, Amy. I haven't watched her in a while. Amy. It's from her that I heard when you go to buy something, always buy something that feeds your soul. And you can change that too. When you sit down to watch or listen to something, even scroll TikTok, uh, Instagram, my scrolling is just on Instagram. I made it a habit of if it doesn't touch deep down in my soul in a good way, I don't want it on my feed. So I'm constantly engaging with different accounts to change whatever is on my feed to actually curate what I see on my Instagram feed. And you can do that as well. Hello, Kinney. So whatever you are watching, whatever you are listening to, and whatever you're talking about, and whoever's around you, always ask yourself, is this feeding my soul? And really ask about it. Because we are a soul, right? The soul is everything. Is it feeding my soul? Because if it's not feeding your soul, then why are you doing? Why are you watching? Andrew Tate would always tell us, who are the people around you? Do you just have loser friends who just make you laugh? Ha 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 ha. For what? That man is crazy. For what? Why do you need friends like that? Just to laugh? Your friends are not talking about making money, and not talking about changing their lives, they're not talking about being better, and not talking about being good people. Even for the people who say, oh, I like him, oh, I like her, they make me laugh. You can't laugh for the rest of your life. Is that all that they have to offer? Think about it. Okay, I'm gonna go. It's nearly 1 hour. Bye bye. I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll be here tomorrow. Maybe not. Oh, it's time to edit my content. See, my alarm went off. Time to edit my content. Bye bye. Bye everybody. I may be here